Okay, Barbara?
Well, I would just like to say that it is a great pleasure to not be last. Because I'm so rarely on a panel where somebody's name begins with Z. So it's a wonderful feeling on a Friday night in Cambridge. If I could commend what Robin said, I thought it was a really good presentation. For me, one of the problems that we've got at the moment is that we've got far too top-down a system. If you look at some of the big drivers for change in Cambridge, and indeed right across the Oxford-Cambridge arc, they're about big national initiatives for productivity, for growth, and there's a huge democratic deficit in some of the bodies that are driving these initiatives. So the Oxford and Cambridge arc process, the local economic partnership process, the National Infrastructure Commission process, are all talking about big national initiatives which are riding roughshod over local democracy, both in the form of the local authority and indeed in terms of communities and sustainable groups at a much more local level. So I think we've all got to make a fuss about that, a huge fuss about that, because it's happening right across the country, but it's particularly marked in the towns and cities and communities of the Oxford-Cambridge arc. I too think that local leadership is something that needs to be fostered. In many places, like Cambridge, there are lots of people like you who are bright and bouncy and prepared to stand up and be counted, but in some places there simply aren't people like that, and so there needs to be a real investment in developing local leadership right across the country, so that the local initiatives of the sort that you saw with Robin's presentation can in fact happen. And my last point really is on the environmental issues. You'd expect me to say this. I think one of the true marks of inclusive growth in a city like Cambridge is if there's more trees. And if you were pushed to invent a new environmental mechanism that was good for health and mental health and well-being, help reduce carbon, reduce heat effect, suck up pollution, keep water clean, you couldn't think much better than trees. So local initiatives to get green space, trees. There's a wonderful statistic that if you walk in an open space with trees for 13 and a half minutes a day, not 13 minutes, not 14 minutes, but 13 and a half minutes, you reduce your risk of depression by 50%. So let's have more trees. But the time has come, I believe, for local communities to stand up and be counted. The top-down approach is really heinous at the moment. It's the worst I've seen it in all the 60 years that I've been campaigning for the environment. So we've got to stand up and say, no, local is better.
I'm sure we'll all agree with that one.
And the commensurate with public transport is an absolute essential. And Cambridge is a small city with a limited stock of housing. I employ 10 people. Half those people, or more than half those people, live in Newmarket, in Bury St Edmunds, in Ely, towards King's Lynn, and therefore commute in because they can't afford to live in town. The younger people I employ live in town. They're living in very, very high priced rental accommodation. The collection of people here are probably in the fortunate position of owning properties in the centre of the city. So that's a real fundamental, is affordability, and it's a big political issue. It's a massive funding issue. There are ways that it can be dealt with. So to me, it's absolutely essential to deal with. And going along with that, obviously the city is growing, but the ability for those people who are not living in the centre, because they're places they can afford or further out, need the ability to have good public transportation around the city and out of the city. The assumption that everyone's job is where they live, or everyone's job is in the centre, is a false one. People live and work everywhere. It's a really complex thing in a place like Cambridge that is pretty well spread out in terms of its overall population. So, of course, there are loads more points that hopefully will come up in discussion, but they're my two.
Okay, thank you very much, Baroness.